was in Japan, people called me Harue. But when I came to Singapore, people suddenly called me Ying. It was a new place, with a new name, and I felt as if I had become a whole new person. So the question comes to my mind. Who am I? Hello, today I want you to think about this question throughout my speech. But before that, have you ever asked yourself this question? It is a simple question, but the more you think about it, it might get complex, and it will be much harder to answer just in one sentence. So let me tell you why I've been asking myself this question for years. So that's me, and I was born to Chinese parents, but raised in Japan. In Japan, I had Japanese name as my classmate, which is Harue. Growing up, I spoke Japanese with my friends and teachers and walked the same street from station to school every morning with my friends. Importantly, I blended so naturally with my surroundings that I never questioned who I was. However, everything has changed. A few years ago, I came to an international school here, in Singapore. It wasn't a shift in language or culture, but it was my name. At school, my teacher would usually recognize me as Ying, which is my Chinese name on my passport. But I never used it before. So for me, Ying felt different. For the first time, I became aware of something I had never really thought about. Me as a Chinese Ying. Since then, it always took time for me to introduce myself. Am I Harue or am I Ying? It felt like as if I had two faces, yet neither version felt complete. I am fulfilled with Japanese heritages, but I'm not technically Japanese. But at the same time, Chinese runs through my veins, but people would barely recognize me because of my broken Mandarin at that time. And for the first time, I felt out of a group, not being able to find a place where I could belong. It was hard for me because I was really influenced by, I would say, Eastern culture, where they prioritize being part of a community rather than being individual. And I was lost. If I can just find my place, if I can fit into a group, then maybe I'll finally have the answer to the question, who am I? So I worked on it, from polishing my Chinese to actively engage in Chinese culture and become a perfect Ying. But at that time, I didn't want to lose the other side of me, which is Harue, and the face I had carried for so many years. So even after moving to Singapore, I made sure not to forget my Japanese characters and engage in Japanese culture at school. And here I am. As you can see, this is not only about culture or nationality, but the labels or roles you carry in your life. Now, take a moment to think about what you would put in these circles. Is it your hobby, or your religion, nationality, or can be occupation? Maybe can I ask someone, what would you put?
English speaker.
Oh, I see, thank you. Well, I think I can also put English speaker here, and we all can. So the thing is, even our combination of these circles different, there could be someone in the world who has the same combination of circle here. So after all my effort to perfect the labels that me as Ying or Harue carry to find a place to belong, I still couldn't fully answer to that question, who am I? And I feel like this is because I was missing really important part of my life that is other than just me as a student, a woman, a ballerina, or a Chinese. So here's the thing. The circles and labels we use to define ourselves are indeed important because they show where we belong as a community. But they don't truly tell us who we are as individuals. I realized that identity isn't just about where we belong, but it's about how we came to belong here, And understanding ourselves isn't just about circle we write down. It's about realizing the journey, the dots line, as you can see, that connects us to the circles. So, take Chinese for me, for example. I am not just Chinese, but what makes me who I am in this label are the dots of each experience that has shaped me. I became a self-reflective person after struggling with my identity, or I became a better communicator after engaging multiple cultural activities, and I became a motivated language learner after working hard on my Chinese. In Eastern culture, as mentioned, identity often focuses on circles and roles within the community. In contrast, Western culture, which I experienced after coming to an international school here, tends to emphasize individualism. Who are you as individual? And that's why these dots matter. They help us reach the circle. It allows us to be a part of a group. And yet, at the same time, it differentiates us through the different life experiences and the choices we make throughout our lives. My experience behind being Chinese would be definitely different from others, and we are all unique in that sense. I hope my speech has convinced you that we should not be too focused on finding a place to fit in and defined only by the labels we carry, but we must reflect ourselves that the steps we chose to walk are the parts that makes us stand out as individuals. So, let me ask you one last time. What is the story behind who you are today? And that's the answer to the question of who I am. Thank you very much.